All right, so before moving on with more graphing of quadratics, I just want to go through and practice something in particular that I noticed you guys were having trouble on in the Go Formative homeworks, and that is the X-intercepts, all right? And also noticed that a lot of you aren't actually going through and graphing, but that's important, so I'll save that for another day, but for now I want to focus on X-intercepts because you guys seem to have a lot of questions with them. So also I can't do it by hand, I have to do it on paper because my camera's not working right now, so bear with me. Anyways, the main thing you want to do when it says find the X-intercept is all you're essentially doing is setting your y equal to 0 and then solving the rest of the equation. So what you want is you want to get everything on this side of the equation over here except for the x. All right, so let's start. The first thing you do is you just, instead of writing y, you put a 0 in for the y. And then everything else stays the same. So again, since I'm writing with a mouse, it's probably going to be a little messy here because writing with the mouse is hard. I also recommend getting out a scrap piece of paper and kind of following along with me here so that you actually write it out and get the practice, okay? So right here, we have just the start. We substituted 0 in for y. The next thing you're typically going to want to do is you're going to want to get rid of this number at the very end of the equation. So in this case, it's a -2, right? So the opposite of -2 is +2. So you add 2 to both sides, and that will get this 2 over here, okay? So now I have 2 equals 2x minus 2 squared. The next thing you're going to want to work with is if there is a number in front of the parentheses. So in this case, I have a number 2 in front of the parentheses. So I want to get rid of that next. What's happening is this 2 is being multiplied with the parentheses. So what is the opposite of multiplication? Division. So you want to divide both sides by 2. What you get is 2 divided by 2 is 1 on the left side, equals, these 2's cancel, so that's gone, and now all you have on this side is x minus 2 squared. All right. Now, we need to get rid of this square, all right? We can't do anything else with the equation unless we get rid of that square. Well, what's the opposite of squaring something? The opposite of squaring something is the square root. So you take the square root of both sides, all right? So you can see I have the square root of 1 and then the square root of x minus 2 squared. What this is going to do is down below, you're going to get a plus minus in whatever the answer for this square root is. The square root of 1 is 1 in this case. Equals, and then you just write whatever's on the inside of the parentheses here. The square goes away. So remember, from this step to this step, you solve the square root and do a plus minus in front, and then on the right-hand side, you just get rid of the square. Now, we technically have two equations from here. We have the equation from the plus sign, and we have the equation from the minus sign. So I'm going to do the plus sign over here. So 1 positive 1 equals x minus 2. And then the second equation you get is negative 1 equals x minus 2. And then once you finish solving these two equations for x, those are your x-intercepts, whatever they give you. So in both of these cases, in order to get x by itself, you're going to have to add 2. Okay. So on this top one, you get 3 equals x. And for this bottom one, you get 1 equals x. It's kind of a... All right, because negative 1 plus 2 is positive 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. So your x-intercepts here are 3, 0, and then 1, 0.